Ka huri te kai o te waka ki tainui anō hoki. E te raukura o te whakatupuranga o ngā kōhanga reo. Te raukura e te tia nei, e te ringa i tiri atu nei, e te reo e rere āmio nei, hei whakakipakipa nei manaki te katoa i roto i te whare mi ere mi ki. Ko koe tēnā e hana e te rangatira. Ko koe he kanohi mua tātou tamariki mokopuna kia kite rātou i a rātou. Aha koe ki mai mātou he rangatira mō a popo, ko i te iwa he rangatira mō naia tonu nei. Tēnei mātou katoa ngā wāhine kua hui mai mo tēnei kaupapa e mihi ana ki a koe me tō kaha, me tō maia. E hana kei a koe te wā, tēnā rā koe.
Kei aku pare, kei aku whakareru hau e ngā mātāwaka. E ngā motu kua rauika mai ki runga i tēnei o ngā kaupapa whakahirahira, nei rā te mihi ki a tātou katoa i te rangi nei. Ai o nuku, ai o rangi, ai o te pauherenga tangata o te motu a kingi tū heitia. Me te makau ariki, te whare kāhui ariki nui tonu rire hau, pai mārire. E mihi ana ki te taumata whakapūmau, tainua ki o koutou mokopuna, o koutou uri whakaheke, o Tai 262, ngā tangata katoa, whae hema, tuakana tāsha, nei rā te mihi o te ngākau kia koutou katoa. Maringa nui au, maringa tino nui ki te taimai, ki runga i tēnei o ngā kaupapa, ka nui taku aroha ki tēnei o ngā kaupapa motuhake o te Y262 me ona huhua katoa, o tira tēnei kaupapa he muka tangata, he muka mana wāhine i roto i ngā mahi katoa. Aroha mai mo tērā technical difficulties. I'm supposed to be the 21-year-old who knows about technology. Heoi, aroha mai mo tēnā. I know that we don't have a lot of time, so I just want to say thank you to all of the different kai kōrero that I've been listening into throughout the day. It's been very inspirational. These are the different kete, these are the different kaupapa that fill our kete during a time like this. And I want to mihi to Tasha Naua no te kōrero, whai mua iau, me ngā kai kōrero katoa o te rangi nei. I am wanting to just give a kōrero from the ngākau, knowing that it's 10 minutes and then opening with pātai if we have time, around the political landscape at the moment and kind of taking a step to pause and really reflect on kind of what's happened in the past 6 months and where we are currently as not just wāhine Māori, but wāhine throughout the Pacific, throughout Te Moana Nui a Kiwa, and where we are as Generation Z, Generation Kōhanga, whatever that may be. How do we have those coping mechanism tools to push us through these next challenges, to navigate this tēnei korokoro te parata e tai mai ana ki a tātou i tēnei wā. So I'm really kind of wanting to take this time to give a bit of a layout of why it is important for not just wāhine Māori, but indigenous young people to get into political landscapes and fields, or whether that be through activism through growing kūmara, whether that be activism through handing down traditional knowledge, through making sure that we don't gatekeep our knowledge and our mātauranga is so crucial. And I think just reflecting on some of the tools that I make sure to keep in my own whare tapawha is travelling in 3 generations. And I'm so privileged to have that taonga, travelling with my nanny and koro, my parents, and our nieces and nephews, travelling in 4s, travelling in 3 generations. Because for me, your grandparents, your kaumātua ruruhi korohike will always take their grandchildren with them. But I think it is important that our generation knows to bring our grandparents with us too, because we need to hold their hands and bring them into spaces and the new challenges that face us. And one of those is the protection of our data sovereignty, the protection of our mātauranga, the protection of our Taiao, the protection of ancestral knowledge, ancestral intelligence through an era of artificial intelligence. So I can't think of any crucial time to have a kaupapa like Y262 as well. I talk about it maybe every single day, actually. Like my whānau's a bit over me talking about how, but it's so important and how visionary the taumata whakapūmau were in terms of the new challenges that will face us. And I see those being the pros and cons of social media, the pros and cons of AI, of the new challenges that maybe aren't physical, but are intangible through platforms like this. And one of them is the political landscape that we face today. I think it is important to have wahine Māori in these spaces, but it is very taxing. It is very draining if you don't have that support around you, if you don't have your purpose in front of you. And I just want to acknowledge all of the indigenous cultures and women in this kaupapa today, within this platform, because it was a couple of months ago that I had gone over to our 30th anniversary of Āwhina Te Kaupapa through the Merry Monarch Festival in Hawaii in Hilo. And over there we were able to return back after 30 years of our parents going over, a kaupapa or a kapaaka group led by Kirima Kukehi and Dave Thompson. And that's exchange of mātauranga Māori and kapahaka in its purest form. However, we were able to wānanga with their grandchildren, with the punana leo of 40 years of the punana leo, and about 5 different wharekura and kura kaupapa over there. And I guess just one kōrero that I want to lay down today is, in gearing up for this kaupapa around FESPAC and Indigenous women, the political landscape, is we were having a little wānanga around elections coming up in Hawaii, and that being a really scary time. And it was some of the rangatahi over in Hawaii that couldn't believe that we had a Indigenous party in Ātiawa. And the reasons being is they have to choose between Joe Biden and Donald Trump as their 2 different votes for this up and coming election in Hawaii. And it is hard to have kanaka Māori as candidates, as senators over there, let alone a whole Indigenous kanaka Māori political group. So it does show us how far we've come, but how much further we have to go as well with the challenges like today. Also the fast tracking bill that's currently underway through the select committee at this very stage. We've also had the Waitangi Tribunal urgent hearings that have happened. So, I do want to talk about just some of the current issues that are happening today at this very minute, and how do we make sure that we stay together? How do we make sure that we're not just leaving it up to certain individuals, but everyone has a space and seat at this table and moving forward? And I think a beautiful model of that, and I'll keep referring back to it, is the model of Y262 and what they've done through Te Taumata Whakapūmau all the way down to Y262 and Tai 262. It is an encompassing strategy and rautaki of 3 generations. And that's what I want to bring it back to. There's 3 generations of kaupapa, of people, of hapu, of whānau that are working towards the same goal, but in their different perspectives or in their different languaging. And I guess that's probably, I actually don't know how much time I have left. I think I'm just rambling on too much, but I do want to share how important it is. And I think understanding our different roles. My name's Hana, not Hana Koko, and I've said that to my iwi around my purpose and my motivation is to make sure that I'm going into te whare paremata, but being a kai karere to break down what is going on in that house, in that system. Actually, that system was never designed for us. That system was designed without us even being a part of those conversations, and digesting that and breaking it down for rangatahi. And that's not just in the political arena of a Pākehā constitution, but also how do we connect with rangatahi from, I'll be honest, since Te Tiriti, the treaty referendum has come onto the tables. I live in Rahui Pōkeka, small town called Huntly, and it has started conversations around what even is Te Tiriti. So, hea hua whakamātera, engari, some of my mates, some of my friends at my kura who are just leaving kura, who are just going into university, actually had no education of what Te Tiriti actually is, what Te Taiao, how we can impact our voices in Te Taiao. So when we're having these legislations come through, we expect that everyone knows about them, but there's a big demographic of our people, especially younger people, 70% of Māori being under the age of 40, who actually have no idea around what that is. So it's an important time to educate ourselves on anei ngā taonga, hei tia ki a tātou. And that's why it is also very important to have sovereignty over our kōrero, over our taonga, over te tiriti, because information with social media these days is so crucial to educate our rangatahi. So that's, I guess, in a nutshell, how important it is for me to express my gratitude to te taumata whakapūmau, me o koutou whakapapa katoa I roto I tēnei o ngā kaupapa. Engari, travelling in 3s, digesting and being a messenger stick to our rangatahi, and making sure that us championing, failing, learning, educating, striving, whatever that may be, is not just for Aotearoa, engari te moana nui a kiwa. And not even just in a political landscape, but also in the way that we tuku iho our taonga and mātauranga Māori. Koira ku kōrero. I'm pretty sure that I've gone over time. I'm over. Engari, I do want to leave this space up to mena he pātai. Anything kei te pai, engari, I just want to say thank you so much for letting me come on and give my 10 cents, 2 cents to this kaupapa. Ka nui taku aroha kia koutou.
Ai, tēnā koe Hana. I roto I ngā kōrero atuhi nei I tuhia e whare kupinga Keith. Don't be afraid, because the Kōhanga real generation are here and we have a huge movement and it's a huge wave of us coming through. She said that is the quote of the year, and that is your quote, e Hana-Rawhiti. E mihi ana kia koe. I would like to take this opportunity to pātai a pātai to you. And that is, what are your personal processes to keep you safe? You go and 3 generations, and I'm sure that's part of your safety mechanism. But when you are in that fire, how are you keeping yourself safe, Kare?
Kia ora kia tātou, kia ora mō tēnā pātai. Yeah, Parliament is a foreign world to me. It is absolutely the polar opposite of the life and lifestyle that we live here in Te Ao Māori, and Rahui Pōkeka, at my papa kāinga here in Wāhi Pā. So for me to enter in that realm, you're right, you can't go with 3 generations into the debating chamber, as much as I wish I could and get my pop to sub me out sometimes. It is really crucial to know that I believe that we have different hats. Just speaking from a party perspective into Pāti Māori, when we're at home, I'm Hana. When we're in our rohe, we are listening to our people. When we come into our caucus room of Te Pāhara Kiki and Te Pāti Māori, we're coming as Hauraki Waikato, as Te Tai Tokiro, as Te Tai Taonga, as Waiariki. And we're not coming in as our individual selves. And then when we actually go into those debating chambers, we're going together as Te iwi Māori. So we switch out different hats, but it makes us, we're really united in that time. And there's many different little rautaki that we do, karakia I mua I tō mātou, before we debate. And let's be real. There's some treaty claims where we even, we've got, I don't know if I should actually be saying this, but we've got also our own parliament with Waikato, and it's healthy to have debates. It is so healthy, whether you have to have debates hapu as marae, as the uncle next door who uses the lawnmower too much. We know that as papa kāinga kids, but when we have I guess, don't really like this phrase, but a common enemy, we have to really unite together. And that's when we flesh out, okay, we have overlapping claims through Waiariki and Hauraki Waikato, how we're going to resolve that. And it's really healthy to have those and making sure that we're united together. So yeah, he nui ngā mahi karakia, ngā mahi toka mauri ki roto I tō mātou pā, songs, artwork, fashion, everything. We're just painting it up in there, and we've got to be loud and proud about it, because that's another way of redesigning the system.
Kia ora,
Tēnā koe.
Kia ora, Hine-rangi. Could I just come in here just for a quick minute, please, and just thank you, Hana, tō hara mai I wanganui a tā mātou. And I just wanted to ask a question, because you talked about that system that was not designed by us, that system that we had no input in, and yet we still go back there. And I get, the your generation, that Generation Z, they are pretty tech savvy. They've learnt how to use technology, and I think that's something we ought to debate and discuss, is how do we develop or create our own capacity as not just as Māori, but as Pacific-wide peoples, to be able to discuss some of the issues, to be able to have an online parliament.
Absolutely.
Where we can then decide. Have you got any thoughts about that?
Absolutely. Ngā mihi kia koe te whaia me tō pātai, me tō kaupapa. I think what was so empowering recently, so hopeful recently, is seeing our King, Kingi Tūheitia, going over to Rarotonga to sign he whakaputanga a moana. And how much that excites us, because this is a personal comment, I feel. However, I feel like due to our colonisers, us being colonised by the British, Hawaii being colonised by the United States, Tahiti being colonised by the French, it has been hard for us to detach from those colonisers to actually turn into the moana and actually tell ourselves, well, hei aha rātou, me kōrero tahi ki waenga nui a tātou anō, ngā mautiri. We have the same kai, the same reo, the same plants, the same tikanga. And when will we have a forum or a platform or a safe space to exchange those kōrero, not even on a political level, but even just mātauranga sharing, storytelling is our greatest gift that we have. We're the original navigators of the world. And I think one of our greatest tools in future will be developing a platform and a space just like this, which we may see at FestPac, which we will see at FestPac actually. Hei aha rātou, ko tātou ki, that we're the answers to our own salvation. And I don't say that kind of airy-fairy, but yeah, me tino huri tātou ki te moana.
Tēnā rawa atu e Hana. Me kōrua ko hema mo tēnei whakawhitiwhiti kōrero. He nui te mihi ki a koe kia kaha, kia maia, kia manoa nui I roto I tērā whare o ngā raiona, he raiona koe. Kia kaha, kia rongo I te haruru o te ao, I tō reo, tēnā no koe e te rangatira. Ai te whānau. It is a time when a 21-year-old wāhine toa is in our parliament in Aotearoa. Very many of us were very proud, but also very proud of her graciousness and the acknowledgement of those who created a pathway for her to stand. So tēnei te mihi ki a Hana o tino ki te tōna momo I te wānau and the tamariki mokopuna ki Wainganui ki ngā kāinga. Pērā I te tamaiti kei te wakarongo mai, who said, that's me, yes, that's me, mama, talking about the Kōhanga generation. So kei te wakarongo rātou I a koe e Hana, he miharo rawa atu